The galaxy is full of weird and wonderful things, but one of the most endearingly iconic creations to come out of the Star Wars universe isn't on the big or small screen, it's the merchandise. From waffle irons to toilets, the range of officially licensed Star Wars products is endless. It can be both incredibly impressive and woefully bewildering, depending on what you value in your fandom. For many, Star Wars merchandise is a celebration of the franchise's sprawling universality. It brings together fans from all corners of the globe, each with their own unique perspective on the galaxy far, far away. However, if we take a step back, it's clear that Star Wars merchandise has some of the most interesting side effects across the culture at large. Take the franchise's enduring influence on childhood, for instance. Without the iconic roar of the Wookiee or the ethereal hum of the Imperial March, it's tempting to say that the mythology of Star Wars almost single-handedly created our generation's imagination, a notion reinforced by the simple fact that people who grew up in the same era as a good many Star Wars characters almost universally loved the movies in their childhood, but had never really experienced them in the same way as kids today. And yet, this blurring of generations also speaks to the profound cultural impact of Star Wars merchandise. The toys, the video games, the trading cards have become almost a history lesson for children, in a way that feels almost uniquely nostalgic today. In other words, the proliferation of Star Wars merchandise serves to blur the lines between past, present, and future, erasing the boundaries between different generations and moments in history, much in the same way that science fiction once often represented the supposed vanguard of modern imagination. But let's take this observation a step further, because it reveals a rather fascinating relationship. Because when we talk about Star Wars merchandise, we tend to focus on the vast array of toys that transformed the brand into an international phenomenon of the 1970s. But it turns out that this very commercial success was built on far more interesting foundations. Basically, George Lucas' own aesthetic vision for a universe of space opera, which included not merely laser swords and spaceship battles, but the true art and symbolism which infused each tiny trinket. Talk about a clash of high and low brow when the world's most popular pop culture phenomenon is actually composed of half reptilian beings, astrophysics, and, of course, kitsch. So, to clarify, Star Wars merchandise isn't just about accumulating stuff, it's about spreading a particular style that not only reflects the franchise itself, but gives it roughly the 50-year stretch prior to 1977 its final shape.